T to the V to the L to the I to the N to the E, TVLine.
I want to just talk about the sort of origin of this project. It had sort of an unusual development trajectory. Like, Ron, you were sort of attached to it while you were still playing Clay on Sons of Anarchy. So the project couldn't be announced because it would spoil the fact that Clay was going to die. Talk to me a little bit about navigating that sort of sensitive...
Imagine that you've wanted to have a child and you've tried to have a child numerous times, and then you finally have a child and you can't tell anybody. You got to keep it like completely hidden.
And the child is Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the child is 64 years old.
Yeah. 48 hours later.
And you're a black dude and he's a Jew.
Yeah. So much explaining to do.
This is a crazy ass family, right?
No, it was crazy because we had, I wrote the script. Mark Forster came on board. We clicked immediately. Ron Perlman comes on board. We click immediately, and then we're like, let's go. And everybody's like, no, pump your brakes. You can't say anything until Clay is dead on Sons of Anarchy. And out of respect for what Ron had been done on that show and respect for the show, we agreed to wait.
No, we didn't really wait. We had a signed deal with Amazon before Clay Morrow ever hit the ground. How that secret never got out, and I mean, we went everywhere. We went to every network in town pitching the show, and then let everybody just, bid on it at the same time. And before Clay hit the ground, we had a deal with Amazon, and no one was any the wiser.
I knew.
There were a lot.
You were the one that
I knew.
You may have known, but you didn't say nothing about it, which is a good thing.
I did a blind item about an actor being on a hit show that's about to get killed off.
That's right, you did. I read that.
So how did you get that? Let's find that out. No, let's turn the tables.
Right,
Yeah.
A journalist doesn't review his sources.
No, he does not. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're not some ordinary bridge and tunnel guy.
No, not anymore. Ron, why jump from one series immediately right into another one?
The truth of the matter is, and the risk of sounding serious, which is not like me, television is in the best condition it's ever been in right now. And the reason for that is because there are so many new networks that are all vying for the audience that everybody is trying to out-original everyone else, which is great for writers like guys like Ben who can really, really write originally and like no one has ever seen before. There's no playbook for Hand of God. That was what blew me away and scared me at the same time when I read it. But I knew from the Sons of Anarchy experience, which was, I knew I was working in an incredibly exciting, unique, original universe, that if you wanted to stay at that level, you were going to have to continue to work in television. That's why I actively was looking to segue without hesitation.
So I watched the pilot, and someone the other day asked me to describe it to them, and I could not. I could not, like in a nutshell, really describe what the show was, because it was a lot of things. Right. What's the log line for Hand of God?
There's the easy one that I'm almost memorized, which is, a morally and politically corrupt judge has a breakdown after his son attempts suicide, and in the aftermath, he thinks he's born again. And he goes crazy. And now he's hearing voices that are telling him, and he thinks they're coming from God, that are telling him to get revenge for a crime that led to his son attempting suicide. So that's the story log line. I think the bigger question is like, what is the story about? I mean, for me, it's two things. One, it's about the contradictions of human nature, really. We want to be surrounded by people, and yet we also are selfish. I mean, I love that contradiction. There's the contradictions of we want to have a cause and a purpose, and yet we also are lazy. We don't want to just be, we don't want our lives to be inconvenienced. So I like playing with that, and I think that those are two of the things. And then the other one is transformation. And seeing different sides of yourself, the difference between who you are and who you wish you were. And I think that Ron's character, through his obsessive pursuit of one thing, it becomes a catalyst because you don't have that too often. And when someone gets that, there are ripple effects. And in this fictionalized city of San Vicente, everyone all of a sudden is put into a position where they have to actually really step up and acknowledge who they are and what they want, and they have to act on it.
The premiere asks the question or poses the question, who are they? Who among the cast knows who they
Oh,
are?
who is they?
Who is they?
Well, we've read the
the
finale, the
finale.
season finale. So
So-
Oh, you've already done the season
Yeah,
finale.
we
Do
shot
we
the 10
find out
episodes.
who they are by the end?
You'll have to see.
you have to see
Some of them.
It's an amazing ending.
Yeah.
To Ben's credit, he blacked out, the
Oh.
giveaways in the final script.
Oh my
so we
gosh.
found out,
All at the table read.
all of the table read at the same time. And as becoming fans of the show and reading the scripts each week, it was incredible and so satisfying.
Oh, yeah.
It was the most
You will
satisfying
be
ending
The
of
funny
Very
thing, the funny thing
satisfying.
is that the pilot episode, which is all the world ever got in the first place, to try to decide whether or not there'd be more of this exploration, ended with a question, and then 9 episodes later, in the 10th and final episode of season 1, it ended with 40 questions. Like every single character in the show
Yeah.
is left. Holy what? Can I say that on this show?
I think I said earlier.
Well, I'm
So-
So I,
pretty.
I don't
sure.
know the hierarchy
You
of
trumped
curse
me, you
words, but
trumped
you're good.
Let's not even talk about Trump right now. But anyway, even though it's election year, the discussion about faith, about the notion of God and religion in the show, I think is more a discussion about faith and how it's like a fingerprint. It's no two people have the same relationship with spirituality in this world.
And if you're driven by faith and by the things that matter most to you, your son, the life of your son, the life of your family, how far would you go?
And I think it's really exciting because for every single character on the show, they are questioned and they are tested in their own personal faiths and belief systems, whatever they may be. And every single character on the show evolves in a very realistic but real way.
I don't know about you guys. I never saw this show as a show about faith or God. It was ultimately about character and really strong, compelling characters.
No, I think it's. I think actually it's interesting to see some of the reaction if you have a show with the word God in the title, or you have a show with a church as one of your set pieces, that everyone just sort of thinks that that's what the show is about immediately. That's not what the show is about, and that's actually what the story. That was an element that was added a little bit late in the process when I was thinking about who this character was, and I didn't want people to be able to dismiss this character as crazy right off the bat. He's a zealot, and if he's a zealot and he has one mission, his mission is to get vengeance for his son, then you can easily dismiss him as crazy. And then I said, I don't want that, and I introduced this idea that maybe there's something supernatural going on, and in this case, religion. And that has become sort of like one of the hot button issues, and that's just indicative of our society. It's like something that no one wants to talk about. And I think one of the reasons is because it's always so dogmatic. It's always going to be religion bad or religion good. And with our show, it's always been, the premise is, the answer is always both. Is he good or bad? Yes. Is religion good or bad? Yes. Is it black or white? Yes. It's always that. And it puts the audience in a position of having to draw their own conclusions. And when they do that, they're having to kind of acknowledge their own motivations and their own beliefs.
Answer your question though. Who's they? You find out enough to keep you interested. That is for sure.
As a fan of this show, you will be satisfied by the ending. That is for sure. Girlfriend, you will be satisfied.
I say again.